Epic Universe. Epic Universe. Epic Universe. Epic Universe is so unique, gorgeous, beautiful, incredible, fantastic, phenomenal, amazing, astounding, mind-blowing, really, really great, and just beautiful. Wow. 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 It's wow. Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to It's a Small Vlog, and today I am not in my usual studio. I haven't really done a ton of videos in my typical one, but this is what I like to call Studio B, hence all of the Universal stuff that I have going on here in the background. And today, if it wasn't obvious enough by the thumbnail of this video, I had the amazing opportunity yesterday, at the time that I'm recording this, to visit Universal's Epic Universe, and I just kind of want to talk about it. I've never done a video like this before, where it's just been me talking about my experience because we weren't allowed to take any photos or videos. The only photos that were allowed were by the photo pass photographers. I don't know what they're called at Universal. But those were allowed, and we are allowed to put those online as well. But we are here to talk about this Epic Universe. Boy, I have a lot to talk about. I wanted to talk about it last night when I got back, but we had such a long day, and I was pooped when I got back. So I rested up, I slept on everything that I kind of wanted to talk about, and I'm just gonna basically be going through talking about my experience with everything. I don't wanna make this video insanely long. It's not gonna be very short though, but I don't want it to be super duper long. Also, if you're worried about spoilers, I'm not spoiling anything. I don't really think that there's much for me to spoil, personally, but if you are worried about spoilers, I'm not gonna go into very much detail about a lot of things. I'm just gonna kind of give a very general overview of everything that I did, and I'm not going to be going in order of what I did throughout the day time-wise. I'm going to be going in order of the lands, or the worlds as they're called at Epic Universe geographically. So really quick, what is Epic Universe, right? Let's answer that question first. What is Epic Universe? Well, Epic Universe is Universal's third major theme park. Technically, I guess if you wanted to say it, it is kind of their fourth because they have Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay is a water park. I don't really count it. So this is their third major theme park. It got announced back in 2019, and it was supposed to open in, I believe, 2024, but the events of 2020 obviously delayed construction very early on, and it is now officially opening on May 22nd, 2025, which is 2 months from tomorrow. So I got to experience Epic Universe 2 months early, which I'm super grateful for, which is awesome. And Epic Universe is comprised of 5 main areas. You have the first area, which is Celestial Park, which is their non-IP area. And then you have the 4 IP areas. You have Super Nintendo World, you have Dark Universe, which is themed to Universal Monsters, you have Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, which is the 3rd iteration of the Wizarding World, and then you have How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. So a ton of new, properties that we haven't really seen anywhere else around the world, with the exception of Nintendo, but everything else is pretty much brand new, which is great. Also, really quick before we begin, I also want to let you guys know that there will be timestamps located in the description below as I go land by land. So if you want to fast forward, rewind, skip ahead, skip back to anything, there will be timestamps in the description below for your convenience. Just wanted to let you guys know that. So the very first land that I want to talk about, of course, is Celestial Park. That is where your journey begins, right? And Celestial Park, I'm just going to say it right now, it was my favorite area in the park, and I think the reason why is simply because it was just so unique. It is so huge and expansive and just beautiful. It is their one non-IP area. It is themed to space and astrology, and it is just this perfect area that just unifies the entire park as a whole. It is gorgeous, and I love that. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the intellectual properties that they chose for this park are great. I think they work really, really well. But it's just so nice and refreshing to see something new and creative that isn't tied to an IP. And that is exactly what Celestial Park is, and it's great. Again, it's this entire unifying area from the very beginning, from the very entrance of the park, all the way down to the very back of the park at the Helios Grand Hotel, which is massive and it is beautiful. We didn't go inside it, it's not ready yet, but just looking at it, oh my god, the views from that hotel are going to be incredible. It is huge. It's this big anchor at the back of the park. It is fantastic. It's beautiful. And when you enter Celestial Park, the icon of Epic Universe is the Chronos. And it's kind of like, I don't know the exact story behind it, but it's supposed to be like this astrological kind of device where the planets are aligning. It's allowing us as the guests access to enter these various portals into these, different worlds. And Celestial Park is also going to be your primary method of travel in Epic Universe. You cannot avoid Celestial Park. You will be walking through it multiple times a day to get from point A to point B. For example, if you are in Super Nintendo World and you want to get to Dark Universe, which is right next to it, you can't just go from Nintendo to Dark Universe. You have to cut through Celestial Park in order to get there. You're going to want to walk through it multiple times because there's so much to see. It is so expansive. It's so beautiful. There's so much greenery and beautiful landscaping. There's water features, so many like moving things, lots of kinetic energy, which I love. And there's so much kinetic energy everywhere in this park. And that's what we love to see. It helps the place feel alive. It's just great. There are fountains everywhere. I cannot wait to see this entire park at night, especially Celestial Park. The lighting package is going to be incredible. It's going to be insane. So Celestial Park was fantastic. And there are two primary attractions in Celestial Park as well, with that being Constellation Carousel and Stardust Racers. Again, this is not the order that I did things in. I'm going to go through this geographically. So Constellation Carousel is exactly what it sounds like. It is a constellation themed carousel with a bit of a twist though. It is not your typical, Cinderella carousel that you'd find in Fantasyland. It is kind of hard to describe. It's beautifully themed. It is a beautiful, beautiful carousel. I think the best way to describe it is the ride vehicles, the horses are themed to like astrological animals that you'd find in constellations in the sky, hence the name. But then the ride system is interesting because you're on one turntable, but then there are like mini turntables within that one big turntable. I don't know if that makes sense. So you're spinning and then you're also doing like kind of like a secondary spin, but they don't really spin. They kind of like dance to this music. So it's really cool. Like sometimes, they'll be kind of like dancing up and down, and then the music will kind of rise and they'll all rise together, and then on the downbeat they'll all kind of go down. So it's kind of cool that the ride vehicles kind of dance with each other, so it's not your typical carousel. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely not a must-do, but it's great. Like a carousel at a Universal park, not really something that you'd expect, I feel like, but it was a lot of fun. I don't think it's going to have a very good ride capacity though, just because a lot of the vehicles are very spread out. A lot of the animals that you ride on are fairly spread out. They can fit up to 2 people in each of them, but I don't think that the ride capacity is going to be as high as compared to a traditional carousel. And then of course you have Stardust Racers. Now, I did not go on Stardust Racers yesterday, simply because it did not operate at all the entire day, which quite honestly, I was very hesitant to go on it anyway. I do think that if it was up and running, I do think I would have given it a shot, but I couldn't have even if I wanted to, which I was okay with. I know a lot of people were bummed about that, but I'm just gonna take that as a sign that it wasn't meant to be yesterday, and I'm totally okay with that. So I don't have really much to say on Stardust Racers, other than that it looks like it's a humongous roller coaster, and I've heard that it is very, very intense. I've heard people compare it to Velocicoaster, which I have never been on. The most intense roller coaster I have ever been on is Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios. So I don't really have much to say there, but if you're a thrill junkie, that is going to be probably your #1 priority in the entire park. And then for food options, Celestial Park has the most areas when it comes to entertainment, food, and merchandise. There are 3 main food areas, and they're all themed so well. I did not eat at all these places, but I walked through every single restaurant. So there's Meteor Astropub, burgers, chicken nuggets, things of that nature. And then you have Pizza Moon, which has pizza and Italian food. These are all quick service restaurants, by the way. I did eat at Pizza Moon for dinner, and for theme park pizza, it was delicious. It was some of the best theme park pizza I've ever had. It was great. And the theming inside is so cool. Like, just when you think, you're like, oh, it's just a pizza place, but then you walk in and it's themed so well. I don't even really know how to describe the theme, but there's so many like moving parts that you can look at like up above you. There's this massive like brick oven that's shaped like a rocket. It's so cool in there. Out of the 3 quick service restaurants in Celestial Park, Pizza Moon was themed the best, and they were all themed great. But that one was so cool just to walk in. Even if you don't eat at any of these places, I encourage you to just walk into them and explore them, because there's so much to see and look at. And they are themed incredibly well, especially Pizza Moon. And then the 3rd place, which is right next to Pizza Moon, is called the Oaken Star Tavern, which is like kind of like a brick steampunk themed restaurant, and they have barbecue basically. Even that was just beautifully themed. They have these really big fireplaces inside. They have like these hand-painted murals on these brick walls, just so gorgeously themed. When you enter, there's stained glass on the doors. They're like, some of the stuff I'm like, wow, this is a Universal theme park. Like, some of the stuff I'm thinking they didn't need to do all of this just for a quick service restaurant, but they did. And that is the difference that I love about Epic Universe. There's so much detail. There's so much to take in. There are so many deliberate like design choices that you have to just really take your time to appreciate. I'm going to be going back to this park so many times, and I know for a fact that I'm going to be noticing so many new things that I didn't notice yesterday. Just astounding. So Celestial Park was my favorite area. I love it. It has the least amount of rides, but they're great. The food options are great. There's also 2 sit-down restaurants, Atlantic and the Blue Dragon. None of those were open though. And those are actually the only 2 sit-down restaurants in the entire park. Atlantic is like a seafood kind of restaurant. You get some really cool like water views of the area. And then the Blue Dragon is closer to the back by the hotel. And that is your, classic Pan-Asian style food. Can't wait for that to open. That looks awesome. But overall, Celestial Park, fantastic. Alright, so now that we are done with Celestial Park, let's talk about some of the IP lands. And I'm going to be going clockwise around the park as I'm talking about this. So we're going to start with How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. And this area is probably the biggest IP land. Celestial Park is the biggest area in the whole park, but when it comes to the 4 IP worlds, How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk is definitely the largest, or at least it feels like it's the largest, and it is beautiful. I think this area was probably the most well thought out area. It has the most to do out of any area when it comes to attractions. We have Hiccup Swing Gliders, which is a family coaster. We have Dragon Racers Rally, which is a flat ride. Fire Drill, which is a water game ride. There's Viking Training Camp, which is like a little playground for kids. And they even have a theater show, an indoor theater show called the Untrainable Dragon. So that's like, what, 5 things in this land? That's awesome. And there's a lot of food options too, and a ton of character meet and greets as well. You can meet Toothless. I did not see him yesterday. It was a very long line. They have Vikings, walking around intermittently throughout the day. They have like little dragons kind of walking around as well. Like, there's so much, and it's so cool. Like, the rock work is just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful land. The star attraction is definitely Hiccup Swing Gliders, which I think the best way to describe it is like a crossover between Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios and Hagrid's at Islands of Adventure. More intense than Slinky Dog, less intense than Hagrid's. There's 2 launches, you do get some speed, but again, it is a family coaster. It's kind of low to the ground. There's a few audio animatronics. It's a great ride. It's a perfect length. You kind of traverse through basically the entire land, and it's just a great, fun family coaster. It was one of my favorite rides that I did yesterday. It was awesome, and of course that, you know, legendary How to Train Your Dragon score is swelling in the background. It's just great. So that ride was probably a 10 out of 10. It was awesome. Didn't go in the playground. I did not go on fire drill because I've saw people getting off of that absolutely drenched from head to toe, and I didn't really feel like getting soaked yesterday. It was a warm day. It wasn't super duper hot though, but I didn't want to get wet yesterday, so I did not do fire drill. It looks like it's a lot of fun though. It's in a small area but very interactive. The boats hold a lot of people, so it looked like it was a lot of fun. I did do Dragon Racers Rally, which I'll put up like a little video rendering of it right now. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a flat ride. It's a flat, thrilling ride. It's supposed to like kind of simulate flying, I guess. And you have complete control over like how much you want to spin. I did not do any spinning because that would have probably made me sick. So I just kind of sat there and enjoyed the ride. When you sit there, you just kind of enjoy it. It's actually pretty relaxing, but like that's it. It's not really a must do. It was a little boring, but it was still fun though. We also saw the Untrainable Dragon show, which I believe exists out in Beijing, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe that this show does exist elsewhere, but it just fits better here because it's in a whole land dedicated to How to Train Your Dragon. And that was a phenomenal show. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's not in an outdoor theater. You go inside to an indoor theater and you watch it, and it is a great show. There's puppets, there's special effects. It's just great. Really great. You're gonna find this throughout the entire park. There is so much variety here. In this land alone, there is so much variety when it comes to the attractions. There's a roller coaster, there's a water ride, there's a flat ride, there's a playground for kids, there's a stage show. I mean, it checks all the boxes, and the whole park does too. And like, I think it's gonna be great because it caters to so many different audiences. I feel like that kind of helps out with the lines too. I feel like a big issue with Hollywood studios at Disney nowadays is that like 3/4 of the attractions there are just e-tickets, and you can't have that. They're either e-tickets or they're shows, and like there's not a good balance at that park. But at this park there is a great balance between little things to do and big e-tickets. It's just really it just was really well thought out. And food wise, I didn't eat in How to Train Your Dragon, but the main area is Meat Hall. You go inside, it looks like the movie. It's great. They have like some big barbecue platters there. Some other places, they have a stand called Grog and Gruel, which sells like macaroni, like mac and cheese cones in a cup. They looked good. I'm sure that's gonna be a very popular place. And then they have Spitfire Grill, which is basically just like bowls, like Asian bowls, which look really good as well. Plenty of places to shop for merchandise as well. I love this land. I thought I thought it was the biggest land. I thought it was the most well thought out. There's the most to do in this area as well. Kids are going to love it. Yeah, just really great. It's just beautiful. The whole park is beautiful. This land was beautiful. I love this area. And it's hard because I know that I said that my favorite area was Celestial Park. If you ask me to choose a least favorite area, I can't tell you what my least favorite is. I'd have to really go back a few times to figure that out, because every single land is great. Every single land is great. Every attraction is great. Like, even though I said like Dragon Racers Rally wasn't really my favorite, it's still a fun ride and it's still something to do. And even just looking at it, it adds a lot of kinetic energy to the area. Again, so many moving parts. That ride is moving. The roller coaster is moving. You have the water from the water attraction that's moving. You have the dragons roaming around. Apparently there's going to be like dragons flying in the sky, which we didn't see any of that yesterday, but if they can pull that off, wow. So How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, it's a very popular IP, and this land was a home run, easily. You're gonna love it. right, so now moving over to our next land in the park, we're going to talk about Super Nintendo World. Now, Super Nintendo World is the only land in Epic Universe that is not exclusive to the park. It does exist elsewhere. It exists in Hollywood and Tokyo. Now, Hollywood's version is like half the size of Epic Universe's, and it only has the one ride. It has the Mario Kart ride. As far as Tokyo goes, I've never been to Tokyo's, but I'm pretty sure that ours and Tokyo's are almost identical. I don't know if there are any differences. They're probably like very subtle differences, but ours is probably the best version. I think it's safe to say. So you go in, the main portal to go in was not operational, because this one's kind of interesting, because for all the other portals you walk in and oh, you're in the land. Super Nintendo World, you go through the portal, but then you have to go up an escalator to get to it, because it's a multi-level land. I don't know if the escalator wasn't working, I'm not sure, but we went through this alternative entrance. But still, you walk into Super Nintendo World and you just instantly smile, and that is exactly what I did. It is great. I love it. It has my heart. I love Super Nintendo World. Talk about a ton of moving parts. This land has the most going on. It's almost like sensory overload. There is so much moving and just so many things to look at. The colors, there's so many colors. It's multi-level. There's like a first level, there's a second level, there's a third. There are so many things to look at and so many things to explore. You're gonna love it. Even if you don't know anything about Nintendo, you're bound to recognize at least something. And Super Nintendo World has 3 attractions. It has Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, it has Yoshi's Adventure, and then it has Minecart Madness, which is located in like a mini land within Super Nintendo World called Donkey Kong Country. So it's great. You have Super Nintendo World, but then you have like a land within a land, which is Donkey Kong Country. So Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, it's fun. I like it. You get like these AR kind of glasses. Some of you have probably already experienced it, but it's a slow moving ride that combines like screens and a lot of physical sets with these AR glasses. It is not 3D. AR is augmented reality, and it's a little weird at first, but the interactivity of it, like steering and, shooting your shells or whatever and racking up coins and points, it's actually pretty accurate and it's a lot of fun. I thought I was going to be kind of underwhelmed by this attraction because I've heard so many mixed things about it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a ton of fun. There's so much rewritability for it as well, and it was super interactive, and it's a fairly long ride too. It's pretty long. There's lots of things to look at, lots of things to do. You can kind of compete with everybody else. Think about like the interactivity of Toy Story Mania, but then combine it with like, kind of remind me of Ratatouille a little bit, but it's on a track. It's not a trackless ride system. And again, it's not 3D, it is AR. You don't need to wear the glasses, but it makes the ride, in my opinion, more fun and more thrilling, and obviously essential for that interactive part. So I really enjoyed it, and the queue is awesome. The queue for this ride is so cool, so much to see. That ride was great. Yoshi's Adventure, super cute. It is literally, I call it the Yoshi People Mover, because that's basically what it is. It is a slow moving kind of omni-mover ride. You're riding in a Yoshi, and it has a little element of interactivity to it. You have to like find each of the 3 different colored eggs. There's red and blue and green, and you have little buttons that you press when you spot them. Again, I don't really mind telling you guys this much about Nintendo because I'm sure many of you have probably already experienced this stuff or have seen photos and videos of it elsewhere. So Nintendo I am going a little bit more in depth about, just because it's been around longer. But Yoshi's Adventure is a lot of fun. Not a must-do, but it's going to be a hit with kids. I think it's a perfect length too. It's outdoors, but you go in like this indoor section as well. Lots of moving parts. It's just fun. It's just cute. It's fun. It's got a little element of interactivity to it, and it's great. And this whole land is so interactive. Obviously, of course, with the power-up band, there's so much things to touch and interact with. There are literally like full on like trails and caves that you can explore that just have like fun little mini games in them that interact with the power-up band. There were so many people just kind of playing around with it. You connect it to the app, you rack up your points. It's a lot of fun. Definitely invest in a power-up band. I would recommend it. You could spend hours in Super Nintendo World alone just by doing all of this interactive stuff. There's so much to do. And Toadstool Cafe is adorable. Didn't eat there, but you walk in, it's super cute. You see Chef Toad and everything. And speaking of Toad, I got him right here. I brought him yesterday because just in case Toad was out for a meet and greet. He was not, unfortunately. Peach was out for a meet and greet. I saw her, but that was it. But I took him on the Yoshi ride and he really enjoyed it. So, and then Donkey Kong Country is definitely a much smaller area, but it's super unique, super cool. There's flowing water everywhere. There's interactive elements there. The bummer for me yesterday, though, I will be honest, I did not get on Minecart Madness, unfortunately. I can't really complain because I did almost everything else in the park. Minecart Madness was kind of in the same vein as Stardust Racers, where it was up it was up in the morning. It was perfectly fine in the morning, but we didn't go there first. It was up in the morning, and then it was kind of just on and off the rest of the day. I remember we got to Nintendo, I think at around 1 o'clock, and it was down, and then I think it went up for maybe like half an hour while we were on the complete opposite end of the park, and then it went down, and then it just never came back up again. So that was kind of a bummer, but that was okay. You know, it gives me something to look forward to next time. So I can't say anything about Minecart Madness other than it looks like a ton of fun. It looks super duper fun. Super Nintendo World was great. My only thing with Nintendo, and I think a lot of people will be able to share this sentiment, is it's probably the most congested out of all the areas. Like because it's multi-level, it does feel a little tight because there's so much to take in, there's so much to see. The walkways can get a little congested at times, but also because it's multi-level, you're gonna be, especially if you're doing the interactive stuff with the power-up bands, or even just getting from point A to point B within the land, you are going to be walking up and down a lot of stairs. And it is gonna get tiring, especially if you have a party with wheelchairs or those little motorized scooters. They do have elevators available at a lot of locations in the area, but it is gonna get kind of annoying if you have to go up and down a ton of elevators. I feel like it is gonna get a little congested, and sometimes it can get a little tiring and a little annoying going up and down a ton of stairs. Other than that, Nintendo was great. I was geeking out with Nintendo. It's so vibrant and so colorful, and there's so much to look at. You're not going to be disappointed with Nintendo. So, I loved it. Alright, so let's move on over to the fourth area of the park, with that being Dark Universe. And Dark Universe, besides Celestial Park, is probably the most unique area of this entire park, simply because it's the Neuron Universal Monsters, and it is this very dark, ominous area. And it's great. When you walk in, there's fog and there's mist, and it's kind of eerie, and you turn the corner and you're in the village of Darkmoor, and in the distance you see Frankenstein Manor, and there's like electricity pulsing everywhere throughout the entire land, which just kind of helps unify it. The second you walk through that portal, right? You walk through the portal and you hear like the zapping of electricity, and everywhere in this whole land there is electricity pulsing everywhere through the village up at the top of Frankenstein Manor. When you're in the queue of the ride, which, oh my god, that ride, wow. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but it's just so well themed. It also only has 2 attractions as well, but it was such a well themed area. You have like the town area, and then you keep going further back and you get to the manor, and then you get to the Burning Blade Tavern, which the windmill literally catches on fire. I didn't see that yesterday. I don't know if it was running or not. The windmill catches on fire, kind of like the dragon in Diagon Alley. It does it intermittently throughout the day. It could have been working yesterday and I just didn't see it. I don't know. Just seeing that was really cool. You hear it like creaking too as you walk past it. And then you're in like this wooded area and you have the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster, and then you kind of come back full circle. If I had to pick a favorite thing that I did yesterday, and I hate to sound like everybody else, but Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment, was mind-blowing. This amount of immersion and theming and storytelling within a Universal attraction, right? Because I feel like Universal gets a bad rep for it. They give us reasons to give them a bad rep for that kind of stuff. But this ride, this is a Disney level style ride. Honestly, it was so good. I don't even know if Disney could have done it better. It was astounding. It was easily the best ride in the entire park. It is easily going to be a must-do for everybody. The queue is incredible. The queue is so well done. And there are 2 pre-shows for it. I won't really spoil the pre-shows. The first one reminded me of the Tower of Terror pre-show, where it's just kind of like a screen, but it was still cool. And we get introduced to Igor, who's a great character. And then the second pre-show, we get introduced to Victoria Frankenstein. And these are details that Universal has shared with us. So this is nothing new that I'm sharing with you guys, but we see Victoria. She's like the descendant, like the great-granddaughter of the original Dr. Frankenstein or something. And for so many generations, her family has just gotten this bad rep for being like these crazy mad scientists, and she's trying to fix that. And she's trying to get all these monsters to come together and like be good. I think that's the story. So we see her, and you see Frankenstein come out, which Universal has showed us online. They're like, oh yeah, these are our most advanced audio animatronic characters. Oh yeah, they are. When you see Frankenstein walk out, you gasp. You're like, whoa, my mouth. For this whole ride, I mean, really throughout the entire day I was at the park, but for this ride especially, walking through the queue, seeing the pre-show, on the ride, my jaw was dropped. I would say 80% of the time. I was just like, I could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, wow. And then you get on the ride, and it's in this huge loading bay. I'm sure you've also heard this many times, but the ride system is the same Kuka arm system as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey over at Islands of Adventure. And I've only been on that ride once, and there are a lot of people who can feel queasy after getting off of that. This ride you won't. Because yes, it is the same ride system, and you get jolted around a little bit, but Forbidden Journey is simulating flight. This one, you're just kind of moving, right? Like you're moving. I mean, again, there's some thrilling moments where you might get thrown back a little bit or tossed to the side, but nothing as compared to Forbidden Journey. It's a lot smoother, and it's just great. And it also doesn't, there are screens, but the ride does not rely heavily on them at all. There are a ton of audio animatronics, and they're all great. Not all of them were working, because again, this is still in technical rehearsal. I would say like a good 3/4 of them were working though. But even still, the ride is still a 10 out of 10. There are scenes with fire, like literal fire. You get close to things, and there's so much happening around you. Like, I'm like, I don't know where to look. Do I look left? Do I look right? Do I look up? There's stuff happening everywhere. Like, this is like Universal's version. I feel like this is their answer to Rise of the Resistance. And I don't know which one is better. Honestly, I really don't. I think pre-show wise, I think Rise takes it, and storytelling wise, just in general, because the experience for Rise of the Resistance is so drawn out, still to this day, I think unmatched. But the ride itself, this ride, I do think is a lot more thrilling than Rise. I think there's more to look at, and there's more happening. I can't say which one I like better. That is how good this attraction was. It was phenomenal. And also, if you're wondering if the attraction is actually scary because it is Universal Monsters, it's not. It's thrilling. It's not scary. It's not going to give you nightmares. If you have kids, I don't think they should be scared by it. I think you'll be fine. It was just incredible. Like, I walked off of that, I was speechless. I really was. It was such an amazing ride. What wasn't such an amazing ride was Curse of the Werewolf, which is funny because they're literally right next to each other in the same area. It was okay. It was fine. It's not much, you know, it's a fun family coaster. I'll go on it again. You know, it's fine. It spins a little bit. You can't really control because I think it depends on the body weight of your car. But it's a short coaster. It's going to have a horrible hourly ride capacity because there are only 2 trains on the track. That's it. One that's unloading and loading and one that's on cycling through the ride. And you get like a good amount of speed. It's a good thrill. You know, good for families. You'll go kind of like back and then forth and then back again. But yeah, it's just kind of short. It's okay. It's well themed though. If you don't like spinning, then you may not like this because you can't control the spinning. I think it just kind of depends on your body weight. Like my car, we started off backwards, but then like 5 seconds into the ride, we were already forwards and we didn't really spin that much. It felt more like controlled turning, kind of like what you'd find on Cosmic Rewind. But then the people in front of us were spinning almost uncontrollably. And it's just something you can't control. Definitely not a must-do. It's still fun, but not anywhere close to how amazing Monsters Unchained was. Food-wise, you have the Burning Blade Tavern, which has a lot of drinks and just kind of like some small bites as well. Kind of small in there, but very well themed. Very, very, very cool. In the town area, you have the Monster Makeup Experience, which is like the Monster Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, I guess. I personally don't think that this area is going to last. Just gonna say it. I don't think this is gonna be a very popular area. I could be wrong, I don't know. But it's cool, like, you know, how you can kind of get your face transformed. It's cool how they do it. And then the main quick service area here is called Das Steakhouse, which we did walk through, and it's very dark in there. It's like this cadaverous, kind of like cryptic theme. And there are like these hand-painted like oil paintings on the wall. Super duper cool. The menu looked great. I was this close to eating there. By the end of the day, I just wasn't hungry enough to eat there, but they have steaks on steaks. They have some really, really cool food options from what I saw. So I think that's gonna be a very popular place to eat. Big as well, very big area. Yeah, Dark Universe was great. The ride alone, again, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't wait to go on that again. It was such an amazing ride. Dark Universe in general is so well themed. It's so cool. And it's so unique. It's something new. And it makes sense, right? Universal has this amazing history with horror. And, you know, Universal kind of invented the horror genre with these monsters. And to kind of pay tribute to that and have this year-round area that you can experience these monsters besides Halloween Horror Nights, I think it's genius. I love it. I thought this area was great, and I think you're gonna love it too. So Dark Universe was, just like all the other lands, fantastic, but it was fantastic in its own unique way. Alright, and finally wrapping up everything, we have the 5th and final land that we have to talk about, which is Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. So, this area is the 3rd Harry Potter themed area at Universal Orlando Resort, which I love Harry Potter. I'm not complaining. And it's great because you go to Universal now and you get like this trilogy of storytelling, which is unlike anything that exists anywhere else. It's crazy. You have Hogsmeade and Hogwarts at Islands of Adventure. You have Diagon Alley in the Studios Park, and now you have 1920s Paris and the Ministry of Magic at Epic Universe. Now, personally, I like Diagon Alley better than Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. This might be my favorite Harry Potter area. Now, What is also unique about this area is that this area is not strictly Harry Potter. The Paris theming comes from Fantastic Beasts, which is another story by J.K. Rowling, for those that don't know. So it's kind of split, more of an emphasis on Harry Potter, but the Paris theming is more Fantastic Beasts. So there are two things to do here. So we have another stage show. I did not see this stage show. I've heard very good things about it, but it was called, what was it called? It was called Le Cirque Arcanu. And from what I've heard, it's like a 15-minute show or something. And that show is themed around Fantastic Beasts. Again, I didn't see it. I've heard good things about it though. And just walking around this Paris area, I have been to actual Paris. It is very accurate. It is beautiful. And I thought that the streets of this area were going to be kind of tight, because Diagon Alley, I love Diagon Alley, but it's a tight area. And I think they learned their lesson from that. The streets are big. They are big streets, which was a pleasant surprise. I thought this was going to be a tight area, but it was not. Just to give you guys a sense of scale of these buildings, the smallest building in this land is taller than the tallest building in Diagon Alley. So the buildings are huge. There's so much to look at, like around you. There's signage and paintings, and oh my gosh, it's just great. And of course, there's new interactive stuff to do with the wands. I didn't do any of that stuff, but I saw a few people testing them out, and there's lots of cool things that you can do with them. So yeah, it was great. Now, the star of this land, and something that could be the star of the entire park, is Harry Potter Battle at the Ministry. Now, this attraction was not up and running, but nobody, to my knowledge, has been on this, not even team members. They are still working on this ride, which is mildly concerning. Now, from what I've heard about this ride, I've heard that this ride is even better than Monsters Unchained, which I don't know how that could be possible, because Monsters Unchained has set the bar insanely high, and I've heard that this ride has the potential to be even better than that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because they did let us walk the queue for this ride. And this queue line is probably the best queue line I have ever been in, anywhere. Disney, Universal, anywhere. This queue line is enormous, and it is wow. It's wow. Now, the queue line is the Ministry of Magic, so if you want to see the Ministry of Magic, you have to go in this queue line. You can't just go see the Ministry of Magic and just walk through it. You do have to get in the queue line. And I think this queue line was designed to have up to like 4 to 5 hour waits. It's enormous. So you walk through, and you go through the Flu Network, which is the green fire from the movie, and it's a super cool effect. And that's the very first part of the queue. You walk through the Metro Flu, and you go in, and you are in the Ministry of Magic, and oh my god, wow. I said my jaw was dropped for Monsters Unchained. This one, I'm walking through this queue, mind blown. People are going to cry when they see this queue. It is insane. Everything is to scale. There's the projections on the ceiling to simulate like the weather. You see the giant like poster that's moving, because the story of this attraction is Dolores Umbridge is on trial for her crimes, and then I think the attraction is something like she's using the time turner, because there was a lot of time turner merchandise throughout the land, and also the symbol of the land is a time turner. So that's going to be kind of like the main storytelling mechanism for the ride, I believe. The story is Dolores Umbridge is trying to go back in time using the time turner to resurrect Voldemort. So we have to go after her. And today is the day that she is standing on trial for her crimes. So it sounds like a great attraction, and the queue really helps convey that narrative. The queue is so good and so big. If you told me that this section of the area, it was just a walkthrough attraction and it wasn't an actual ride, I would have been okay with that. That is how good this queue line was. It was mind-blowing. It was amazing. An incredible queue. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to be awestruck when you see this. It is so well done. I don't even think Disney could have done it better. It's that good. It makes the Gringotts queue look like child's play. Gringotts queue, who? Never heard of it. This one, oh my god. Oh my god. I can't stop thinking about it. So good. Like, if you pull up a video or photo of the Ministry of Magic from the movies, looks exactly like that. It is a carbon copy. It's amazing. And then you enter and exit the same way. You exit the Ministry of Magic back through the Flu Network. And it just ties everything together so great. So I cannot wait for that ride to actually be up and running, but the queue line itself was incredible. It really was. Food, there are two main areas for food. There is Cafe Serene, which I actually did not go in. I was able to peek through the windows, but they're like, again, this park is still in technical rehearsal. They are literally like they're actively filming like commercials and stuff and promos while we were walking around. There were sets and actors and lighting equipment everywhere. So for Cafe Serene, they were filming something there, so we weren't able to go inside it, unfortunately. The menu looked great though, and I was able to kind of take a peek inside through the windows, and it's so beautiful and elegant in there. So I can't wait to eventually go back and experience Cafe Serene. And then the other place here, which was the main place that I ate at for lunch, it's called Le Goblet Noir. Great name. I love that name. Translates to the Black Cup in French, because remember, we're in Paris. And their menu, they serve like French and German food. And I got the beef gourdache, I think? Something like that. It was delicious. It was, oh my god, it was so good. The beef was so tender. It had this beef and it was mixing with like these tomatoes and these peppers and these spices and these egg noodles with some bread, and it was phenomenal. It was so good. It like, I don't even think I'd have to eat anywhere else in the park. It was that good. Delicious. For a drink, I got like this strawberry mint iced tea. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but that was also incredible. Great combo. So I will be back at Le Goblet Noir many times. It was so good. Honestly, I think I can say with confidence, without eating anywhere else, this is probably my favorite restaurant in the whole park. I don't think anything is going to beat this area. The theming is great. It's a big area. It's expansive. It's all indoors. The food was immaculate. It was so delicious. Yeah, great food. So if you want like some good French and German food, go to Le Goblet Noir. It was great. Really good. Also, just in general, because I did look at the menus for every restaurant, I personally think that Harry Potter Ministry of Magic has the best option for food. That's just my opinion, but I think that they do. So definitely head over there when you're at the park. It was delicious. Would highly recommend. And again, there's plenty of places to shop. They had a live band out performing. They have a sweet shop. They have a wand shop. So many places to explore. It was great. I easily think this was my favorite Harry Potter themed area that Universal has done. So now that I've talked about all 5 of the lands, and I know that this review is getting kind of long, so I am going to wrap it up now. But I want to say like some final thoughts with Epic Universe. Everything was great. Everything was great. There was nothing really bad. I mean, sure, there were maybe a few things that I was like kind of underwhelmed by, but nothing bad. Like nothing like, oh, that was bad, that needs to be fixed, or oh, I would never eat that again or go on that again. Nothing like that. This park is a home run. It's going to give Disney a run for its money. It is seriously an amazing park, and you have to wrap your head around this. This is the first new major park here in Orlando, since 1999, we have not gotten a new theme park here in Orlando in the 21st century. We have not gotten anything in the new millennium. We haven't. This is, for a lot of people, especially for me and for a lot of people in my generation, this is the first time that a new major theme park is opening in my lifetime. In 1999, the most recent major park that we got, because I'm not counting Volcano Bay. It's a water park. It's a great water park. I love it, but I'm not counting that. In 1999, Islands of Adventure opened, which was a Universal park. And that was the last new one that we've got. We are in 2025 now. It has been 26 years since we have gotten a new major theme park in the Orlando area. And just thinking about Disney and Universal in general, domestically here in the United States, we haven't gotten a new Disney or Universal park since 2001. And that was with the opening of California Adventure over at Disneyland, not even here in Orlando. So it has been 26 years since we've gotten any new theme park, any major new theme park here in the Orlando area. So I think that alone is just going to draw so many people here. And the hype is absolutely real. It is a great park. It is so well laid out. It is well thought out. It has a great variety of attractions and food. And also, when it comes to the intellectual properties, this park appeals to so many audiences and generations. Not only is there such a variety of cuisine and different styles of attractions, there's slow rides, there's e-tickets, there's thrills, there's calm rides, right? Generationally, when it comes to the IPs, you have a great selection. You have the Universal Monsters, which date all the way back to like the 1930s. So you're going to have that generation who grew up with the monsters to be reintroduced to a new generation. You're going to have that generation of gamers from the 80s and the 90s with How to Train Your Dragon. You've got the Harry Potter lovers, and you've got How to Train Your Dragon, Harry Potter from the early 2000s and How to Train Your Dragon from the 2010s. Everything generationally here just works, and it's going to appeal to everybody. You're going to find something for everyone. There are shows, there are thrills, there are slow-moving family attractions. They check all the boxes and then some. Every expectation that I had was met, and I would say most of them were exceeded beyond that too. It's a great park. I love Celestial Park. I just love it. The sense of wanderlust that you're gonna get walking through Celestial Park, just because of how big and expansive it is, and really all of Epic Universe in general, is just great. I love the area. I love the Kronos. I love how it's like this unifying storytelling device that makes everything so cohesive. It's just great. It's unique. It's immersive. And if I could describe the park in one word, I would say it's emotional. Why do we love theme parks so much? Why? We love theme parks, we love Universal, and we love Disney because they make us feel things. It's not just a typical amusement park. They are different because they make us feel things. You are going to feel the thrill of the monsters. You're going to feel that happy nostalgia with Nintendo. You're going to feel that insane amount of awe when you see the Ministry of Magic. You're going to feel so many different emotions that it's almost overwhelming. And we love that. We love to feel things. We love those emotional ties and those emotional connections to everything that Disney and Universal does. And that's the one thing I know that Disney does do better than Universal. I feel like Universal, I would say majority of Universal rides I would simply describe as fun and thrilling. There's not really an emotional tie, in my opinion, to a lot that Universal does. But this park, this whole project, you can tell that there was such an ungodly amount of love and sincerity that went into everything here. And they're still working on a few things. It's not done yet. It's like 97% done, but they're still doing some landscaping. They're still testing out things. They're still painting some things. It was a great day. I didn't want to leave. I did not want to leave that park. It was so good. And it almost kind of pains me to say all this a little bit because I'm a Disney guy. I love Disney. And I still will not stop loving Disney. And I still think that Disney's better just because in the grand scheme of things. But this park as a whole, wow. It's just, I love it. I am in love with everything that they have done here. And I think people are going to, you're going to leave with so many memories, and you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time. I can't wait to get back there. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And I think Epic Universe, not to sound cliche, but Epic Universe 150% lives up to its name. It is truly epic. But anyway, that is going to officially wrap up this video. I know that I have been kind of rambling on for quite a while now, but that was my entire experience yesterday over at Universal Epic Universe. Please let me know in the comments below if you have been there yet and what your experience was like, or if you are planning on going sometime soon. You have to get over there. It is awesome. You are not going to regret anything. And if you have any other questions, please let me know also in the comments below. I will say, depending on the amount of questions that I get, maybe I'll do another separate video just kind of answering all of your questions. If there was anything that was unclear that I didn't necessarily answer in this video, I will be sure to answer it the best that I can in the comments below. Again, I can't really give away too much, nor do I want to either, because you just have to experience all this for yourself. So if you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss it anytime I upload a new video, because eventually, when those photo and video recording restrictions do get lifted, you will be seeing a vlog or two from Epic Universe as I'm there firsthand, and it's gonna be great when that day comes. But again, please be sure to like, subscribe, turn those notifications on. Check me out on Instagram as well. The link is down below. We have Threads as well. The link to that is in my Instagram bio. And of course, be sure to check out the It's a Small Blog website. The link to that is also down below. Comment down below what you are most looking forward to about Universal Epic Universe. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. My name is Bobby. This has been It's a Small Vlog from Studio B here on the channel discussing Universal Epic Universe. And with all that out of the way, have a magical and epic day, everybody. Bye.